do something else, but that's okay. So the last thing that I was mentioning is that there's no need for self-denial, because God, no, it's not even about just God. You are God. So you are a source. You're a reflecting source. Like, you don't have to pretend that it isn't you creating this whole existence. Like, you are the star. You are the maker. You are the creator. You are the world. You are the one. You are the feminine. You are the divine, powerful feminine that is going to create these cycles for yourself in this life. And if you're having fear about, I feel like this has to do with how the feminine looks, like how is it being perceived. There's no, like it's coming to me, there's no wrong way. There's no wrong way for you to express who you are. There's no reason for your denial of who you are. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get into what else. Let's see. For the feminine, what support does feminine, what support from spirit does feminine have? There's too many. I'm gonna put them back. Support for the feminine is the cougar. Assertive. In silence, you find power. Claim your leadership role and take action. You know where to go and what to do. You have the courage and confidence to succeed. Yes, you do. You are the master of your life, of who you are, okay? So there's no reason to forget who you are, especially, you know, as we keep growing and evolving, right? Like, we're always creating new pieces of ourselves. Like, we don't stay the same. We kind of take bits and grow with it, and sometimes we do 180s and the whole thing is flipped around, you know. But you always have the power of that assertiveness to claim courage, okay, and confidence to succeed. And also, like, if you are feeling sometimes like a little down, like it's like you need, like, I don't know how to get myself out of the rut or something like that, you call on your spirit guides, right? You say, higher spirit, or my higher power that is, like, help. I need a little encouragement. I need to see myself from a different perspective, not from fear, right? Remember, try to differentiate when you are operating out of fear, when these thoughts are coming from fear, or are they coming from, you know, something that needs to be healed, right? Because then I guess it would still be kind of the same thing, because if it's coming up and it's coming from fear, that's the signal, that's the sign that it wants healing, that it wants to be addressed, it wants some balancing, you know, it wants to be seen, it wants to be healed, it wants to be brought home, right? Like, we have to integrate all aspects of ourselves. Personally, I know I've been thinking of all this shadow work that I do, and it's like, don't be that dark person, or like, don't fall into the darkness. And it's like, actually, I had a vision of integrating, like, you know, I think a lot of, like, the darkness and the shadows, like, it's a pain and a fear, because they're like, well, nobody cares about me. And, you know, it's kind of weird how the sickness goes, because you made some choices that really weren't very, you know, balanced or positive, and so now you've fragmented, and you get a little dark, and so I've just been telling that side of myself, like, I'm not leaving you, okay? Like, we are integrated, we are one, and we're going home together. I'm not leaving you ever, like, in this lifetime, any lifetimes, any dimensions that we've had, you know. I'm not leaving you to be alone. Like, that's kind of my thought process lately, is that, like, the NAA, you know, the negative agenda, like, all the hijacking and the infiltration of, like, why is it so much like the reptilian type of attitudes, you know? And it's like, well, if you look at the emotional maturity or the emotional background, like, they're not really given love, right? Like, why would you be happy or not fear-based if you've never been loved? You know, you never gave yourself that feminine ladies time, or just kind of were low-key. Like, we have to just integrate all aspects of ourselves into our home. Like, we really are all, the world is the whole completion, from the Fool all the way through all those incredible steps of the major arcana, right? Like, we're not leaving any part of ourselves. Like, we're integrating it. So you don't have to do the self-denial. You don't have to have fear, right? Bring it to God. Ask your spirit guides, like, and you will remember that you're powerful, loving, and creative. You're loved. You are a child of God. Even our dark side, even our darkness and the despicable things other people do, or what we judge them about, or whatever that case is like, it is still a part of God that needs integrating within us. Like, we're gonna bring it all home. Like, eventually, I'm so excited for like our star seeds and millennials, and even like the Zoomers. Like, they're so mature. Like, we're definitely in, like, by the time I'm like 70 and stuff, like, we'll definitely be having like a different kind of consciousness flow, because everybody's doing their healing, and we're all recognizing that, like, it's a dance. Like, it really is a dance. We live in duality. Feminine, let's get some shaman oracles. Feminine, what would help with this assertiveness? Like, because we did get our spirit guides, the cougar. Woo! I have to laugh because I'm in my 30s now, so I mean, I guess I'm OG, right? Like, but it's funny because as the divine feminine cougar, that's like kind of a slur. I don't know, like, I guess it depends on how you use it, right? Assertive, confident, courage to succeed. So let's get some, let's see, shaman. Okay, this one popped up. Emotional release. Interesting, because I was just saying, like, the emotional of the dark side of our shadows, of our reptilian agendas, right? Like, inside of us, or operating around us, affecting the consciousness fields, right? Like, some of us are tuned into that, and it definitely is an emotional release. Like, let me see here, that denial, that self-denial just is popping in my head, is like, you're holding a lot of emotions about yourself. Let them flow, whatever those feelings that you're holding for yourself. If it's fear, if it's pain, if it's anger, if it's grief, disappointment, shame, guilt, anything that you are holding against yourself, you need to emotionally release it, right? I know when my shadows come and ask for that work, and I'm like, whoo, I have emotional release to do, and I just let it flow, because I remember I read this somewhere, tears are just stuck emotions that never got out. It's like, wait, why am I crying? And you're like, I don't even know. But it was like something got stuck a long time ago and it needed release. So that's where the tears were coming from, or like something triggered because we were holding those emotions. We were holding that self-denial, or the self-shame, or the fear. Like, I'm scared to be myself, or I'm scared to express myself this way. Like, I know for me growing up, I could not be feminine in the ways that I wanted to. I had to be masculine. Like, where I'm from, you have to be very careful, especially if you don't have men in your family. Like, we don't have like brothers and fathers and cousins. Like, we didn't have it. It's just us girls, okay? So you have to be careful. And that caused a lot of tension and holding, you know, things in the body about self-denial. Don't be no hoochie mama, those kind of things. Like, you better keep your chin up, legs closed, eyes open. Like, just weird things, attacks against the feminine, what could be perceived as like feminine energy, right? So I feel like for divine feminines coming forward right now, there is this need, especially to just love yourself, like ladies' night, and then the emotional release, and taking those kind of like negative thoughts, or like the shadows, or whatever influences that are like pulling you away from feeling really good, and as a child and creative being from God, you know, like, this is a creation. We are destined to be here. Like, it's your right. whatever is holding you back, it's like it's time for emotional release, to integrate it, to tell those parts of yourself where to go. Come home. This is our home. It's okay. You're safe here. Maybe, you know, it is scary and it's very fearful to acknowledge our shadows and to try to integrate them and to heal them. So that way when it pops up, when I start getting impatient with someone, or I start getting those little like thoughts of like snarkiness, whatever the case is, it's like, you know what? I don't have to deny myself though. Like, that is who I am and it still makes me whole. I don't have to treat people that way. Like, I'm not going to mistreat people just because I'm having a snarky attitude, right? I'm going to integrate that, though. I'm going to emotionally release whatever the fear is. Like, it's just fear. Fear of judgment, fear that if I'm rude to this person, they're not going to help me or something, you know. It's always going to just be some sort of time for reflection. It's going to be time to really use that star power and to reflect and look up and to be like, you know what am I creating? What's going to drive me forward? Where do I feel confident and I can like take that assertiveness? Okay. Let's see, feminine. What else feminine? Let's do, I'm just looking at all these kind of cards, that's why. Let's get some tarot advice. Okay, so what is some tarot advice for the emotional release? Okay, 3 of branches. Alchemy is the judgment. No, I'm sorry. Alchemy 16 would be temperance. 3 of swords, temperance, and the 7 of branches. So just go hard for your own healing, like your transmutation, your alchemy, what you're waiting for is coming. Like, you definitely are. Bells ringing. You are bringing in what you want, so you don't have to have this fear. Thank you. You don't have to have like this fear that it's not being integrated. You can have this emotional release those fears and those emotions, okay, that it's not coming, because it absolutely is coming. Whatever you dream, and then you can always have a new dream too. That's what the star is like, you can always have a new dream. But basically with the 7 of branches, which means continue to fight for what you believe in, continue to go hard for what is your hope, you know, and that is this healing, that is the temperance, that is moderating, maybe giving and taking, or just how you're healing yourself, you know. How are you completing these cycles? How are you integrating those shadows, you know, those low-key aspects that kind of are in the dark, you know. Well, he's like with his hoodie on and like smoking and chilling, you know, but like taking those aspects and balancing them, knowing that you are a child of God no matter what. There's no wrong way for you to do this. Nobody exists like you. This is your story. Like, this is your imprint here on this Akash. This is your imprint. There's nothing like you, so you can't do it wrong. Of course it feels that way, and that's where the self-denial comes in. Or that's not self-denial. Remember who you are, okay? You don't have to deny who you are. Like, we all are gonna make mistakes. We're gonna learn. We're all gonna make mistakes again. We're gonna learn. We make another mistake. You're gonna learn, you know? You integrate it so that you get this, though. One day, you don't just go from having an idea of what you want to create to having everything. It actually, 2 of Pentacles, you're struggling. The 3 of Pentacles, you got to work with other. 4 of Pentacles, you're feeling like petty, or you're like trying to build. Like, you go through the stages, okay? You cannot deny the stages of yourself, okay, as well. That's what I'm hearing now, that yourself goes through these stages to reach new places of inspiration and hope, to remember that we are creative pieces of God. So there's really no wrong way of where we keep going, as long as you're balancing and you're remembering to give to yourself too. Remember to look at yourself. Notice yourself. Like, this whole existence is really about you and your imprint on this Akashic time period in time. So there's no wrong way for you to express and to be. But I still feel like feminine has some sort of like reservation. So I'm just going to use a few more of these mixed emotion cards. Let's get a few of those and see what's up with some of these emotions. Because we did talk about the emotional release, okay? And I did mention, it's funny, it goes together because emotional maturity, especially when we get into that reptile type of mentality, and it's just like survival, and it's just like eat or be eaten, and it's like those are emotions that have to get released. You're not alone. You were never left. No one ever abandoned you. You know, like, I know it feels hard because like if you have to struggle and survive, there's fear in that. So I feel like when you tap into that reptile brain, it's really just a fear-based, forgetting that I am God. I'm actually God here experiencing. All right, I'm gonna just take 3. Oh, that one touched me. It wanted to come out. Responsible, positive, intimate, and longing. Yeah, responsible, positive, intimate, and longing. Yeah, I feel like maybe this does have to do something with a wish, a desire of having things like the responsibilities kind of taken care of, wanting, you know, it to look a certain way. Yeah, I'm hearing like the ideas of how feminine want it to look is bugging the feminine, because it's not looking how maybe feminine thought it might look. Like when you were thinking of the dream, maybe how you were peeping the dream is not exactly how it's manifesting. And you have a longing for that, you know. You want what you want. The desires of your heart, they're not there for nothing. And sometimes that bugs us too. It's like, why is it there if I don't have it, or if I'm not getting it, right? Like, why do I have these desires if it's not manifesting? So I think there's just some parts, the feminine, that there needs to take an attitude that I'm gonna balance that. Like when I'm like, oh, why is me, or woe is me, I guess, why is this happening to me? Like that emotional kind of like build up, you have to just kind of let it go and stay positive, because sometimes those emotions that are coming out, it's not even from that situation. It was held from very long ago, like, or something, you know, like these bottled up feelings and emotions, they will come out and they kind of like wreck you, or they can. So feminines, you can maintain your positive attitude by just remembering your confidence and remembering that you came here, okay? You got purpose here. Like, there's a reason. And even if you start getting a little bit, I don't know, like weary, or just like, why aren't cycles like changing? How come I'm not able to like release certain things that no longer serve me, or like get the success of what I want? You have to then go back, stay positive, balance those, you know, take the integration, take those whatever you're denying yourself of, examine what fears are you actually denying. Like, what fears am I denying? Because if you replace it with insight and awareness, then that's kind of changing to more of a positive mindset, you know. And then from a positive mindset, what can't you achieve? I mean, it's like, oh my God, your car window's broken. They're all, I don't care, I'll get it fixed. You know, like with that positive mindset, like, it's pretty funny. You can do whatever you want. So remember to integrate, bring it all together. You can integrate all aspects of yourself. There's no wrong way to express who you are, because you're a child of God. And so who can limit that? Nobody can limit that. Nobody. Sorry, not even you, probably, because if it's in your soul, you can't even deny it. Like, so try to allow yourself to be free, to be, look, she's like naked in both pictures, just to be free, you know. And it's like to love all parts of yourself, to integrate them. There's like shadow aspects that just need balancing, that's all. I mean, there's really nothing wrong with us. God loves us anyways, okay? I'm sorry to say, but apparently he loves everybody the same. Or, you know, there's just that it doesn't really matter. Like, in this lifetime, of course, you want to be a good, decent person, but what does that mean to some tomato? Like, to some people, they are not raised the same as you are. So, you know, like, it goes back to that judgment in the last video. It's like everyone has their path and challenges. Now, I can choose. Now I have to use discernment if I choose to deal or entertain or give access to situations that only bring me down and make me feel low. No, we're not integrating that. Like, you have to identify exactly, like, remember who you are, okay? And maybe that's who you are, and there's no shame in that either. I stay away from people that I don't resonate with. I just don't have to stand there and judge you, you know? Some people are fine being sneaky and snake-like. Like, I stay away from those people. So, divine feminine, I don't feel that that is a true divine feminine characteristic, you know? But there are people that come to us and they want to siphon that creative energy, and they can build from that. So we do have to remember to peep game, you know? Peep game. Don't just nod your head to the music. Like what Pac say, he was like, listen to what they're saying and hold them accountable. How you gonna support fake shit? Oops, excuse me. How you gonna support fake? They're phony. Remember who you are, though. You don't have to support the fake and the phony. You don't have to pretend. You don't have to be in denial. Well, maybe this person might be maybe. You don't have to do that. You can integrate it all. You can have an emotional release, you know. You absolutely have to do your alchemy. You have to release this, okay? There's something that you have been, you know, really waiting on. Something that you're just watching it. You're like watching the water boil, and really what Spirit is saying is that you're really waiting for this, right? It's your healing that you're waiting for. It's not going to be necessarily that 10 Pentacles. Like, I'm thinking that this 10 of Pentacles, okay, it has to do with this emotional release. Sorry, I know I got a little excited. This one with the Temperance. I'm feeling that, you know, because and you also had the Star card here. Star is also like healing and transmuting. So if the old dream doesn't work, you are free to dream a new dream. Why? Because you're a creative child of God and you are beyond loved. You get whatever you want in this life. You don't have to deny yourself nothing, feminine. You stay positive, okay? You have an intimate way about yourself. These dreams and this creative passion that you have to complete cycles and really bring forth what you want in your life is like, it's power. Like, you really have a lot of power when you harness it probably in the right way is what I'm learning, what I'm hearing, and I'm learning too, because I'm always learning too. And let's take a goddess card. Goddess's knowledge. Let's do one of these for the feminine. One card. Oh, this one came flying out. Okay, let's see. This is Eve. Oh my gosh, are you serious? Or it's like the original woman. Divine Feminine, Eve. The word Eve means life. The goddess Eve is the mother and nurturer of all life. She is the creator of the world and of all living beings, lady of the beasts and steward of all growing things. Even in the Bible, she is portrayed with a snake, a potent symbol of the vital life force found in every living being, representing rebirth and regeneration. In one of the Gnostic texts, it is Eve who calls Adam to life. Eve is the embodiment of primal female creative energy, of the powerful urge to create and sustain life. She is active femininity and relatedness to all that lives. She is life herself. I feel like I want to cry by reading this, to be honest, because Divine Feminine, no more self-denial. Not when we are life. She is life itself, okay? And even, I was talking about the reptilian, and it says that, sorry, it's just really powerful. It says, even in the Bible, she's portrayed with a snake, a potent symbol of the vital life force found in every living being, representing rebirth and regeneration. So that reptilian brain, those self-denials has to be integrated so that we can continue to be creative forces of God. Because we are the creators. We are life. See how she's nourishing the land and the water of all existence? Even the alchemy of the temperance card. Usually temperance is the angel, or they're pouring cups, right? The goddess Eve. She's active femininity and relatedness to all that lives. All relatedness to all that lives. That means we integrate it. Come home to yourself, and you can release any emotions that maybe have you longing or feeling, insecure or imbalanced. You can integrate all aspects, like feminine. You are all of it all together. You're so beautiful. I love you. I'll see you next time.